Okay, this will be a first in the series of Prove All Things. Prove All Things. Now that's pursuant to First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, the 21st verse, which says, Prove all things. Now, Al-Azhar, who is the leader of the group Sakari, once made a statement. Now, I don't know if he still believes that statement. He once made a statement saying that we cannot substantiate the book of Hebrews because we don't know who wrote it, right? When we know that the book of Hebrews was the words of the Apostle Paul to the Israelites in Italy, written by Timothy. Timothy was an understudy of Apostle Paul, right? Now, it's one thing to say it, and it's a whole nother thing to prove it. This is why this series is going to be called Prove All Things, and this is the first of a series of videos I'm going to call Prove All Things. Now, here you have what I always refer to as the Red Bible. This Bible was printed by the Jehovah Witness Watchtower Society. Here it is right here. It says Prove All Things, right? Publishers, Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, Brooklyn, New York, right? It is the Holy Bible containing the Hebrew and Greek scriptures, translated out of the original tongues and with the former translations diligently compared and revised. The text is conformable to that of the edition of 1611, commonly known as the Authorized or King James Version. All right. Then they have this passage where they dedicate to James and his great work, King James, who, by the way, was a so-called black man, if you will. Now, this is why I'm doing this video here. If we look at the book of 1 Corinthians, right, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. 1 Corinthians, which you see here, if we go to we're in the 15th chapter, as you see here. If we go to the end of the 15th chapter, look what we see here. The first epistle, what does the word epistle mean? Letter, a sent away letter. That's what it literally means. The first epistle to the Corinthians was written from Philippi by Stephanus and Fortunatus. Now, both those men are mentioned in the scriptures, Stephanus and Fortunatus, and Achaicus and Timotheus. All right, and by the way, that makes sense because that was the longest letter that the Apostle Paul had written, the letter to the Israelites in Corinth, Greece. You had the first letter and the second letter. Okay, so I'm showing you how in depth this Bible is. It even tells you where the book was written and who wrote it. That's your first example, right? 1 Corinthians. Now here's another example. Put this to the side before I get to the final example, which is the book of Hebrews. All right, this is the book of Ephesians. As you see here, Ephesians. Bear with me because I'm working the Bible with one hand and I got my phone in the other filming it. So this is the book of Ephesians, right? Where's the book of Ephesians? Written from? Right here. Written from Rome unto the Ephesians by Tychicus. Now, Tychicus is mentioned in the scriptures, one of the Apostle Paul's understudy, Tychicus, or Tychicus. I believe that's how it's said. Tychicus, right? That is the book of Ephesians. Now, I wish I could do a drum roll, but I can't because both my hands are occupied. The star of the show, the book of Hebrews, the book that Al-Azhar said we cannot substantiate because we don't know who wrote it. Well, I have the answer for you my brother. I have the answer for you. I gave you a couple of examples. We're going to go to the end of the book of Hebrews, and you're going to see who wrote it. Okay? And thus, I would have proved what I always say. Here you go. Look carefully, Alazar. Written to the Hebrews from Italy by Timothy. All right, so that puts an end to the mystery that Alazar, the statement that he made. We cannot substantiate the book of Hebrews, one of the most powerful books in the Bible, I might add. Okay, written to Hebrews from Italy by Timothy. Who was Timothy? Well, right there in the 23rd verse. Know ye that our brother Timothy is set at liberty, with whom, if he comes shortly, I will see you. Salute all them that have the rule over you. The rule over you. Some guys don't like that. They don't like other brothers having the rule over them. But they're the same guys that say they believe in Yahushua, a man that they can't see. But they don't believe in the brothers that are leading them who they can see. Go figure. Salute all them that have the rule over you, and all the saints, they of Italy, salute you. They of Italy salute you. And we got brothers in Italy. I can't say that for the other Israelite camps. They're always bragging about how many members they got, but GMS has camps all over the world, even in Italy, that speak fluent Italian. Okay? They of Italy salute you. Grace be with you all. Amen, which in the Hebrew, Amen, which means so let it be. But there you go, the end of the mystery. Written to the Hebrews from Italy by Timothy. So I gave you 3 examples. I gave you an example in 1 Corinthians, gave you an example in Ephesians, and now the example of Hebrews from the red Bible that I always talk about. And this Bible is excellent. See all them precepts? If you want to really learn the scriptures, you want to try to get this Bible. It's printed by the Watchtower Tract Society. You may be able, it's kind of hard to find them now. You may be able to find this Bible on Amazon. Just type in Red Jehovah's Witness Bible, and it should come up, and it should be available on Amazon. Okay? All right, so on to the next one. This has been the first edition of Prove All Things.